Before products hit the shelves or even the manufacture facility, they all go through a rigorous testing process here in the development kitchen. Oliver Nestlé is head of innovation acceleration. Give us a little bit more insight, elaborate for us on what that development process looks like.
So we're focusing here on plant-based products. If we imitate, for example, meat, we need to deliver on a couple of aspects. First of all, people want texture. How can we get the same texture than meat? Second is taste. But we also need to make sure that we have products with a short ingredient list, with a good nutritional profile, and if possible, the best sustainability profile.
I see next door what looks like a factory of sorts, but also sort of a lab. What is that next door, and how does the work they're doing fit into the work that the chefs are doing in here?
Yeah. So next door, we have a small pilot plant. This is the first step when we go out of the kitchen and we try to produce bigger samples. That may be 5 kilos, 10 kilos, just to see can we do it outside of the kitchen. The products then very quickly come actually back here into the kitchen, and they are going to be tested by chefs. Does it still behave in the way we want? Do they work in different recipes? So it's actually going back and forth between the two rooms.
When it comes to the plant-based foods that you're developing, what are the biggest challenges that you face?
Number one challenge is usually the texture. The animal muscle is longitudinal. So we need to find ways, in a very mild and soft way, to unfold this plant protein and put it into the same structure.
Among the products developed here include vegan egg and vegan shrimp alternatives, cleverly named Veggie and Vrimp. Head chef Sheldon Fernandez showed me how to prepare them.
So we're not going to do much, it's just olive oil in there.
Tell me about the design process.
So I think when we do design of our products, we approach that from many different angles. Taste, of course, is very important, but I think one of the areas that we really have to focus on is texture.
Okay.
Because we're starting from a very different point versus real meat. So how do we achieve the texture when it's raw, but also in different stages of cooking, like you see now? We need to assess all the different cooking methods that you have.
Wow, it's really browning up.
Yeah, like a shrimp should.
How will we know when they're done?
So they're done right now.
Oh,
so you
okay.
have the same texture as a shrimp, so I'll serve you a few.
Moment of truth.
Yes. Be careful because they're hot.
Okay. They really do look like the real thing.
So I'm going to put a little bit of seasoning, salt, and a little bit of pepper.
Pure Vrimp.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Texture, very similar.
Looking forward.
Delicious. So delicious. And there's some nori in here, I understand?
So we use seaweed
Okay.
to get the flavor rather than using flavorings.
It's amazing with just a little salt and pepper. There's so much flavor. Very reminiscent of a real shrimp.
Glad you like it.
I also understand that you've developed a vegan egg product.
Yes, we have. Yeah, I'll show you.
Wow. This also really looks like the real thing.
It comes as a liquid. And
Okay.
I'll serve you some. Would you like to try some?
Yes, please.
At home.
What's in here?
So it's plant-based completely.
Okay.
A mix of soy, oil, 3 or 4 ingredients, salt, pepper, and the yellow is coming from carotene, from carrot flavor.
All right, let's see. Delicious, and the texture is spot on.
Thank you.
What was it like to develop the vegan egg?
So I think in terms of egg, what one has to consider is egg is capable of doing many different things, right? In terms of texture, taste, also in baking. So we looked at developing a product that would work in many different spaces in terms of baking and cooking. So this one's a pure scrambled egg. It works great in making pastries, in cake, etc. What was key is how do you get this sulfur note that you normally have in egg. So one of the things we looked at coming from our culinary background is black Himalayan salt, and that has a natural sulfur element in it. So this is where we started, and that's how we approach it from a very kitchen scale, and then we try and understand how we can put that into our product.
Wow.
So this is where you're getting that egginess coming from.
It's absolutely delicious, and it's interesting you say texture is typically a really challenging component to get right.
Yeah.
But it feels as though you've really nailed it with these eggs.
Absolutely, we're very close, and when we look at texture, we also look at things like if you were to make a frittata, so it's got to hold together the rest of the ingredients like the onions, potatoes, etc. Right? So those are the aspects that we're always keeping in mind when we are developing this.